Hello and welcome to the final Stormblood job breakdown for the Dark Knight for Stormblood. Dark Knight is a job that I like quite a bit. I'm pretty bad at it, but I really like it, and I really like the story and where it went with it. I'm going to try and go through all the information here, but if I miss something, please let me know in the comment section down below. Obviously, a lot of this information is changing, and a lot of Dark Knight specifically's moves are going away. The main reason I still wanted to do this was just to be able to show off what Dark Knight is in Stormblood and where it's come from so that people can be looking back, but also so that during Shadowbringers, people can go, man, this class is so much better. And I hope it is so much better. So you have the Gap Closer. Very cool. Plunge. You have Salted Earth. Allows you to just throw that down, and you will begin building some Blood Gauge from it. We'll use Blood Weapon as well, which will allow us to build some Blood Gauge pretty quickly. You have two basic combos. You have your AoE or your standard AoE aggro combo, which will be going away, and then you have your DPS combo, which is pretty nice. You can, at any point, once we turn on Dark Side, you can not Dark Side. I'm sorry. That's Grit. Dark Side. You can have access to Dark Arts, which allows you to change every ability that you've seen me use so far. So just about everything has a Dark Arts combo. These first two do not, but third hit does more damage, gives more immunity. Again, Siphon Strike has one, lets you get more MP back. Dark Arts is going to be so fun to show off here, man, because we're going to have to drain MP all the time, but we'll show it off. Then you can Dark Arts again and use it on Soul Eater. And Dark Arts Soul Eater gives you damage back as HP. Dark Arts is changing completely in Shadowbringers, so if you're worried about the Dark Arts spam that is used in this video, do not worry, it's changing. You have Carve and Spit, which is an OGCD that gives you back some MP, which is very nice. We're going to keep Siphon Striking here to get more MP back so we can show off more Dark Arts. Then we're going to go throw down another Salted Earth. You can Dark Arts your Plunge to get extra immunity on it. You have Blood Spiller, which can also be Dark Arts. Looks really cool, by the way. Blood Spiller's always been a really nifty looking ability. And as you can see, it costs 50 Blood Gauge, but it does quite a bit more damage when you have Dark Arts added to it. Now, obviously, I don't have enough MP right now to use another Dark Arts, so we will want to get some more MP so that we can Dark Arts some more moves here. But you also have Dark Passenger, which is your AoE forward. It can be Dark Arts as well. When you Dark Arts Dark Passenger, it does double the damage, and it gives a blind effect. So it's almost always worth it to just Dark Arts Dark Passenger instead in Stormblood. There's not really any reason to use it with it not Dark Arts, when you can just burn that through and get your AP back really quickly. There's also a Dark Arts version of Carve and Spit that does way more damage. So definitely something to keep in mind. 100 potency to 450. But as you can see, Dark Arts is the name of the game for the Shadowbringer, or for the Stormblood Dark Knight. It's going to change quite a bit in Shadowbringers, thank goodness. I don't mind the Dark Arts spam so much. I do wish that you had a couple more options to get MP back with how much you're expected to use Dark Arts with your Dark Knight. Because as you can see, like we're getting Blood Gauge back, and we're getting MP back. It's coming back thanks to Blood Weapon. But you can't use Blood Weapon if you're main tanking, which means Dark Knight, to be able to use as much DPS as it needs to do, is almost always better as the off tank. Almost always. And so that's why you don't see as many Dark Knights main tanking when it comes to DPSing, when a Paladin or a Warrior are there that could be doing the job instead. Dark Knights still make very good main tanks. Don't take me saying that to say that they're bad at it. Because I think Dark Knights are maybe better main tanks than Paladins in a weird way. But Dark Knights, to be able to use as much DPS as they need to be able to use Blood Weapon. And they cannot use Blood Weapon when Grit, their tank stance, is up. Which is a huge disappointment. Then from there, if we turn on Grit, you'll see that you get access to a couple other abilities at the loss of Blood Weapon. You have Blood Price now active, only active during Grit. Which restores MP while you're taking damage. It works. It's not as good as Blood Weapon, but it definitely works. It's why I think Dark Knight is still a better main tank than Paladin, much as I love Paladin, because you are still getting MP back upon being hit. And the cooldown for Blood Price is pretty short, 40 seconds. You can have that uptime up almost the entire time, and you're going to get almost all your NP back. It's very nice. You also have Delirium. Uses Blood Gauge to just restore your MP, which is very nice. And you have Quietus. If you Dark Arts Quietus, you get even more MP back from it as well. It's a nice little AoE. Getting some really good stuff coming in Shadowbringers for Dark Knight with that. Finally, you have Blackest Night, which creates a barrier around yourself. That basically, it takes 20% of your maximum HP, or you can put it around a party member, and it gives them 10% of their maximum HP in the form of a barrier. It's pretty nice. It also increases your blood gauge by 50 when the full 20% or 10% of damage has been restored. Sometimes I see tanks want to wait to use this then, because they want to wait for a big tank buster to be able to get all that MP back. It is costly at 2400 MP. It's the same as Dark Arts, but I think it's worth it to go ahead and throw it out to help somebody out and protect somebody that's about to take the bad damage. Obviously, if you can get it at a time where they're going to take the full 10, do it. But otherwise, I think it's just a good cooldown to have. The actual recast is really short too, so there's no reason not to be using it more often. Then for your extra abilities, I have Provoke and Ultimatum. Then I have Low Blow for stun. You have Soul Survivor, which is going away. But basically, if an enemy is going to die, you use Soul Survivor on them, and then you kill them. Soul Survivor would spread to the next enemy, and it would give MP back and HP back after. Very cool. You have Rampart. Same Rampart as before. You have Convalescence. Same Convalescence before. You have Shirk. Anticipation. Then you have Dark Mind, which reduces your magic vulnerability, and Shadow Wall, which is basically another Rampart. Nice, a little bit longer cooldown though. Rizal, of course. And then you have Dark Knights Involved, which is Living Dead. So Living Dead has a big drawback to it. Use Living Dead. If you are not healed back up to full HP by the time Living Dead's timer goes off, you die. So since we were still at full, we were fine. But if we had taken damage, we would have died. It's got a short cooldown, and it can be really well used and utilized if you work together with your healers. Just like Hallowed or Holmgang. I just think that it's not as good as the other two, because if your healers aren't able to heal you fully, you're dead. It's sure, you cannot die. It's great, right? But you also have a very short window of not dying, which is 10 seconds. It's tough, you know? I don't know. I think it's really useful in some situations, but it's tough to use with randoms, is the way I'll put it. I think Dark Knight, it was in a pretty good place. I think the Dark Art spam was a bit much, and they're addressing that in Shadowbringers, which is great. I'm very excited to see what Dark Knight's going to be able to do now. It's losing a lot of its moves, but it's getting cool new ones. And I think Dark Knight's moves look really cool, so I'm excited for it. With all that said, though, I have been Trey. This has been the Full Spectrum. And remember to always enjoy the full spectrum that Dark Knight has to offer.